What's going on, everybody? I'm back. I've made a little platform for us to do our tutorial. I hope you guys like it. I sure enjoyed making it. It's got little floodlights in the corners. And so today, as you've probably seen the title of the video, we are making a motorbike. So this is the end product. And it doesn't really work in creative, so disclaimer, if you are trying to make this for creative, I really wouldn't recommend it because suspension acts differently in creative. It does work, it's just you'll sometimes like rotate on only the front wheel and your back will then whip out, and it's just a bit weird. So one thing I'm going to say beforehand, the light is not necessary. It's only there for like a personal... Oh, taking out my floor now. Where is it? It's just for a personal added thing. It's just cool, in my opinion. I like being able to see where I'm going on my vehicles, because to be fair, most people don't put lights on their vehicles. We have a petrol engine. This does not need to be petrol. This can be electric. If so, then you won't have to put this thing on a bearing, which I'll explain later. And I'm going to bring up the parts list here. Hopefully future me wasn't lazy and actually wrote it out here. Yeah, you are lazy. And I know for a matter of fact, editing me, talking back, telling me, oh, who are you to blah, 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 blah. That's future me's problem. Right. So, you don't need max suspension for the back. You don't need max suspension for the front. The only thing you do need max for is the two controllers on the front. And if you want to customize how much the angle changes for the sensors at the bottom, then you would need to have a max level seat. And everything else does not need to be maxed. So, how I'm going to start this one off is I am going to use a 3-wide seat, and this is going to be necessary because without a 3-wide seat, whole thing isn't going to work because the wheel needs to be in the center. And if it's 4-wide, then we get into like all these other problems. So, 3-wide is what I'm going to be going with. We are going to put the two controllers down next to each other. So depending on what you want to do, you can push it one back or one forward. Me personally, I'm actually going to move it one forward. It doesn't really do anything per se. It just makes the front look a lot nicer, in my opinion. You can put your T-piece here, and then 1, 2 pipes. I'm going to take this off the left. And then put a bearing on the top. And so if you're using a light, I would then put that on now, facing like that. Or you could just put a T-piece facing down in this configuration. It doesn't really matter. Put your 2 bearings on each side. And this is where you're going to need the bigger suspension for the front. But first, you will need to put a elbow piece out forward like that, and elbow piece out forward, and then add your suspension pieces to the front. Add 1 pipe piece to the front, regular pipe piece, and 2 corners with bearings on each one respectively. You put your small wheel in there, and now it should all be connected, but as you can see, it's all floppy, it's going up and down, it doesn't really want to stay in place. And so now, assign a random one of these two. Doesn't need to be anyone in particular, but you just, for simplicity, just remember which one it is. And from here forward, if you need to change angles for the front or the engine, you'll have it all in one place. So connect the bearing closest to you and the one furthest to you on the other side here, and make sure the blue is facing downwards at all times, or if it's like this, it will have to face upwards. As long as it's in a rotation of going downwards, it's fine. And now you change that to be 45 degrees, 45 degrees, and now it should plonk down. With your suspension, you can customize your suspension. I'd say go up a couple, just so everything's not bouncing around the place. And so here we go on to the stabilization detection part. We get 2 bearings on your... I always forget the name. Slipped my mind. On the controller. And then you have 1 pipe piece, which is mandatory if you want it to be able to rotate properly. And then you'll place another bearing on that pipe. So now you should have 1 bearing on the controller and 1 bearing towards where the sensor's going to go. You put your sensor on this last bearing facing outwards. Doesn't matter if it's not... It doesn't matter if there's dots on either side. It always the same, no matter what. And so you now can connect this into the... you can now connect the sensor into your... why do I keep forgetting the name? Into your controller. And you will then set these to be 2. But if you drop this now, it's going to flop around and stuff, and that's not what we want. So, the bearing which is on the sensor which is on the bearing, this one here, or the bearing that's on the sensor, I was right the first time, you now connect to the seat. And now... Oh, sorry, I forgot to connect the front to the bearing as well. My bad. And now, if you press D, the sensor should go up. But, as you can see, it's not working because we need to connect this bearing into that one and this bearing into that one. These have to be in separate... These bearings have to be in separate controllers or it won't work properly. This will make sense later. These bearings I will put on 45 degrees and 45 degrees. This is just how much it's facing downwards, and the sensor here is facing upwards. So if you want to make it face down, you just have to change the orientation, and it should be facing down. You can now put that on lift, and you can now put down your... Actually, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to put concrete in this part because my survival one has concrete. So you have 3 blocks of concrete on the bottom. Oh, sorry, 2 blocks of concrete. Sorry, I meant to put 2 in. You flip it round, which is shown to be a lot harder. Taking a lot longer than what I would like. There we go. Right. You chisel out the block there, and now you put your switch there. It can be on the block or it can be on the seat, doesn't really matter. And you connect that switch to the light and connect that switch to the seat. And so now you can turn the light on and off. You can put that back down. Place another block there. And you can put a bearing down, a pipe piece, a bearing, and an elbow piece facing up. You can now put a block here and a block here. This is here for weight. You can completely skip this part here and just put like a elbow piece facing this way, like where that block would be. If you want to have it lightweight, I prefer mine being a little bit more denser personally. And here you can then place your elbow piece facing outwards and your T-piece facing up and your T-piece facing inwards like that. So you should have a T-piece, two T-pieces facing upwards, 2 T-pieces facing inwards with a T-piece in the middle facing upwards. And then a bearing there. So that's where you're going to put the engine, and that's where you're going to put your suspension glitch. So you now put your 2 pipes up on each side, and your elbow piece there. You will now put your suspension piece, your sports suspension piece, and now put the T on top. But the problem is now is it's not properly connected. As you can see, it's not connected. So what you need to do is select the part, and then when the whole thing turns blue, you've now welded it on. So now it should have a stabilization glitch or suspension glitch. Now we can get the controller of any one, place it in one of each in these parts there. And now you turn that one to be 15 degrees. And I've accidentally did it on the wrong one. It cannot be on the first one. Don't do what I just did there. It has to be on the second one, okay? Guys, second one. And then this one has to be also on the second one. Look, I almost made the mistake again. And then now, see, it's now rocking towards you. To solve this problem, you can change the orientation of the purple, what is it, the bearings for the purple. What's happening here? Oh, it can't be facing the same direction. How can it? That would be a bad idea. There we go, and now it should be stabilizing. With your controller, move it to be max speed now. And you will now realize it should be rapidly stabilizing. To be able to make the stabilize quicker, you can change the angle here if you want, but I just put mine on 15. You can customize it if you want. And with this bearing here that you've now put an engine on the top of, if this is electric, you do not need this. You can just miss the bearing and just put it down here. Me personally, I'm using a petrol engine. And using the one that so the angle that you used for the front, you can also put in the same one. So that's just for ease of life. And put that to be 45 degrees. And as you can see, it's not working properly and it's going into itself. So you can then flick the bearing to be in the opposite direction. And now it's a diamond shape. Oh, did not mean to do that. Right. You can now put the engine to be in the front or the back. I'm putting mine in the front. And just to test this, you can then put the seat into the engine and the engine into the two wheels, and it should start moving if you've put it up. So it should start. There we go. It's moving, but as you can see, we're missing out the rear end. This part's the easiest part. 2 pipes, sports suspension pieces, 2 curved pipe pieces, 2 bearings, and a small wheel, and that completes it. You can paint this up any color you want. Me personally, I have not painted my survival one. This is what it would look like painted. As you can see, the underside is not blocks, it's pipe pieces. That was purely because I was testing it out in survival, and I just wanted to show you what the finished product would look like as a rough version. But I originally made this in survival, so this is very survival friendly. These don't even need to be a level 5. This can be a level 1 sensor on both sides, and everything can be level 1. The only thing that needs to actually be a level is these two to be max for speed, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is what it looks like driving around in creative. I wouldn't recommend because it tail whips and it just acts weird in creative. I'm gonna do a little test drive in creative to show what it's like in creative. It's a bit slow and it does that tail whip thing, and it's just not nice. Me personally, I only use this as a survival vehicle, and it's very comfortably used as a survival vehicle in my opinion. I am now going to show you my survival world and how it looks. If you're not interested in that, I would skip the video now. But this is a quick demo in survival. And this is a survival vehicle. As you can see, I've put my light on the side. That is because I was too lazy to change this part here, because I realised it would be cool having a light here. Or there. But I couldn't be asked to then like recode it all. And I have got the... I've only got a little bit of weight on here, and I do not have a button to turn mine on and off on the back. I have mine on the side. It's all basically the same thing, but I'd recommend doing first person and not having it on max. I'm going to fill up the engine to be full, and I'm going to drive over to that oil area to refuel, and I'll show you how minimal fuel it takes. By the way, that's a future video. I'm going to show you my newly improved storage area for my car's garage. One problem is if you just hold the throttle when you have max speed, you're not really going to have that much control. And as you can see, I'm bouncing a little bit. That's the only reason why it's bouncing, is because I have it on max speed right now. But yeah, just tweak it to whatever you feel comfortable. Oh. And there is a couple ways to stop bouncing. You can change the suspension, but me personally, I don't really see that much of a difference, if not more bouncing occurs when you add suspension dampening to the front two, and the back two doesn't really affect anything. This is two-wheel drive, so this one's gonna be taking up more fuel, I think. I don't know how they calculate it. I believe so. It should be going quicker as well as a side effect, which I personally enjoy. Going all over the place right now. Again, the reason why it's bouncing and being a little bit more uncontrollable is because I've got the engine to be faster. But to be fair, I really don't mind bouncing off it every once in a while if I get to my destination quicker. But I will say this, it is not indestructible. I do not recommend going anywhere near a warehouse with this thing, because that is a death sentence for you and your vehicle. This thing is not indestructible. The seat is probably going to be picked off pretty quickly. And I'm coming over the hill right now, and I'm at my fuel station. You can see that was quite a ways away, and I have only used 2 fuel. Or 1 fuel, sorry. It was 9, wasn't it? Yep, 1 fuel. So it is quite effective. I haven't painted mine up. You can paint yours too if you want. But yeah, that's kind of everything. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys. Oh wait, I will see you guys next time if you like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.